All right, so in the previous video, we added code to our Kodu so that he would move around the screen and would then eat apples. So now we're going to extend that a little bit further, and we're going to program him so that his score will increase as he eats apples, and then the game will essentially display a winner screen at the very, very end when he eats all 5. So make sure your object tool is selected down in this menu bar here. Then we're going to, let me click on it. There we go. Select, right click and select program. So now we're going to add some additional instructions. And remember, we want this to happen when he bumps into the apple. So in addition to eating the apple, we also want him to increase his score. And the way that Kodu is set up, we can't add that instruction here on line 2, but we can create another instruction that will respond when we bump into an apple. So if we click on the when, we click bumped. This first piece is going to look identical to the second line. And remember that apple is found underneath objects. So if you click when bumped into objects apple, we can program his score to increase. So we have that first part done. Now we're going to change our do. If you click on the plus do sign and you look at this section called game, this has a lot of game-like components. So a win, end, reset, all of that. If you go in and you click on this increase score, so we have increase, decrease, and set. If you increase, and then we click on the plus sign, we can select a color score. So I like to select red because that matches the color of my Kodu. So we're going to increase score red. And if I click the plus sign one more time, there's this points section. And if you click on points, it will tell you how many points you want to increase by. And you have a lot of different options. Here I'm going to select 1. So this is saying when we bump into the apple, we're going to increase the red score by 1. And if we press escape, we can actually go out and we can test this. So if we press the play button, we can start going around. We can eat the apples, and what you'll notice is up in the upper right-hand corner, the score increases, and it makes a little noise when it increases. We get that last one, and then our game is over. However, the apples are now gone, and there's no complete ending to our game. So we want to add a little bit more. We want to add a winner screen when his score does, look in the upper right-hand corner, reach 5. So if we press escape, we'll go back to this screen. And if we select the object tool at the bottom, we can program him further. So right click on the Kodu, go back to program. And now we're going to add a final when do statement about the end of the game. So when we go to scored, so when you have scored on the red team, and this we actually have to use a logical operator, and we'll actually make a comparison. So we're basically saying, okay, when we've scored on the red team 5 points. So when our score, if you click the plus sign, you now have this option to compare. So when our score equals, and now we can select, we can do point number of 5. So this statement here is saying when our red team has scored and that score is equal to 5, what we want to happen is we want the Kodu to win. So if we click on do, we can go into the game section. And in the game section, there is an area called win. And then we can be even more specific by clicking the plus sign one more time, clicking on colors, and clicking on red. So this is saying when the red team has a score that is equal to 5, we will win the game. And now if we press escape, we can test this out and play. So we can move around the screen, go eat those apples. 1, and watch that score in the upper right hand corner, excuse me, change. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when I hit that 5th point, you'll notice it says winner, and then it displays team red. And the nice thing about the colors is you can have multiple players, and then you can display who won the game. So in this case, team red, there only was 1 player. However, if in the future you had team red, team blue, team green, you can display the winner by using the colors and the color coordinating built into Kodu. So the last thing I really want to show you here, and I'm going to, move my camera around, use the right-hand click. If I look at my Kodu a little bit, I can actually change his properties, and that's the last thing I want to touch on in this video. So if you click on the object tool and you right-click on the Kodu, we've already tried the change height. You can also do rotate, where you can rotate him so he looks in a different direction. You can change his size, and it'll give you the same little piece here where you can make him really big, or you can make him really small. That's ultimately your choice. but you can also change a whole multitude of other settings. So if you right click and click on change settings here, you'll notice you have a lot of different options. So you start at the top, you can see forward speed multiplier, so you can make him move more quickly. You can change his turning speed. You can make him immobile. You can show his hit points. You can increase his hit points. He can stay above water, or you can turn that off so that he can swim. You can change how much damage he has when he shoots a blip or receives a blip. You can change his missile damage. You can change the ranges. You can add or subtract smoke from missiles. You can make him invisible or a ghost. There are a multitude of options. So here in this change settings area, you can see how many options you have. And now I changed the forward speed multiplier. So if I play this game again, I will see that my Kodu does move slightly more quickly. So you want to use those settings a lot. Those are your characteristics of your objects. Those are the things about them that can be altered. So use that to your advantage. You know where that is. Make the game what you want it to be. So now you have a little bit of basic knowledge in Kodu. You've now made your first game. And when you're ready, you can move on to lesson 2, where we will start to make our first racing game.